Nick Hilton's outside the London Stand West Ham Fan TV. Dave, is that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. We're down. You know, the only saving grace, only hope is that you can say that they're trying hard. You know, they're not good enough. But if people have got a good attitude and they want to work, you know, people can improve. They can't improve if you haven't got the attitude there. And I think the attitude's there. You know, I think that might be the one thing we can clean to. I'll tell you what though, I feel heartbroken for Ollie Scholes right now. You know?
Well, I've said this before, mate, and I'll say this again, and I'll say this to the end of time. Ollie Scholes had an excellent game today. I thought he was brilliant today. Everyone's going to look at that mistake. Everyone's going to point them fingers at him. If the people at the other end, the experienced players, the players that have been playing there season after season, including our captain, put them away, we don't even have that issue.
I'm glad you brought up our captain because when he made that mistake, 84.5 minutes, he was man of the match for me. I thought he was superb. He makes one mistake and he's on the floor and you can see it. You can see how much it means to him. You can see it at full time when he's doing, you know, he's wiping tears out of his eyes. How much, and he's such a lovely kid. Honestly, like if you ever meet him, he's like a really, really nice kid, Ollie Scholes, right? And to see it like that, right? And then you want to touch on that captain, right? When he's on that floor, wiping tears out of his eyes, because like, let's be fair, right? We didn't deserve to win that. We're never going to win that. It's cost us a point, right? But even then, a point at home to Fulham doesn't keep you safe, right? So let's clear that one up. Where's your captain? It took a little while for Suchek to walk over and pull him off the grass, right? And I'll tell you what, right? For a captain, you name one game this season where he's turned up and performed, where you looked at him and thought, do you know what? Oh, he's too good to be here. Yeah. That's the player that, you know, that's what's going to get us over the line here. Because I said this to my brother, he went Forest away, and I thought, oh, maybe, you know, the last 10 minutes of Forest he turned up. By and large, though, this season he's been abysmal. Like,
I agree.
And I think we're a little bit in a catch-22 now, where if we agree with Dan, do you sell him in January to a club that needs that kind of goal-scoring threat, where maybe a change of scenery will reignite him?
What, Dave? And I'm going to say this about there's a lot of them out there. I would still, ordinarily, I would sell Kilman, I would sell Paquetá, I would probably sell Bowen, if I'm honest with you. If we could get a replacement for him and you know get some good money for him. But you know what I would say about him? I want him to stay here and fucking suffer it as well, because I want him to be here at the end of the season and show the fruits of their fucking labour, because that is not fucking good enough.
I agree, but at the same time, like I would put it to you that if we're gonna go down, and we know we're gonna go, let's start building that team for next season now. Let's start, you know. We can persist with players like Paquetá. He didn't have a bad game today. He didn't have a great game either. You know, but if you get him out the door and suddenly think, oh, George Irving might be the answer next year, and I thought he looked all right when he came on. I thought he played well. You know, if we can keep Potts, Magassa and Fernandes.
Look at what we've got in the middle, what we're relying on to get us through games. 3 kids that are under 21.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the experience in the side's letting us down.
Yeah.
You know, because the players that should be performing. To be fair to the day, actually, I thought Kilman played all right.
So did I. I agree with that.
I thought Tadebo played well. Walker Peters, I think, showed more of a captain's performance than Bowen did in front of him. I thought he desperately ran himself into the ground, and at full time, you know, he was the first of our players, or second of our players actually, I think, of Kilman to go and put his arm around Scholes and try and control him a little bit. Look, you know, making mistakes that lead to goals is part of football. Everyone does it. You know, Maldini's done it, Beckenbauer done it. Ollie Scholes isn't the first person to do that. He won't be the last.
Mate, listen, there's many people that blame over Ollie Scholes today, and that's the truth.
Yeah. No, I agree. And hopefully, you know, I'm sure social media is going to be, you know, a place of great reason and logic, and a lot of people that will say that. You know, a lot of people will say that today that, you know, he was absolutely superb for 84 minutes. Do you start him on Tuesday night against Brighton? Or
yeah, absolutely. It was Scholesy. Yeah, I think first name on the team sheet after the performance today, and that's because of his truth.
Do you know what? I hope New York can put an arm around him tonight and go, do you know what? Forget that.
Someone needs to, because the fucking players on the pitch don't. They're all worried about their fucking own, themselves and their own careers. Listen, you know my feelings, Dave. You know.
Yeah, I know your feelings. Look, we got a big call to make ahead of January now. You know, I said up at City that we needed probably 10 points from the next 4.
Well, that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. You know, if this side ain't good enough to win a home game against Fulham, they're not going to be good enough to win a home game against Brighton. They're not going to be good enough to win. I mean,
definitely not Forest after what I see today.
So, you know, we've got to accept our fate probably. And let's start a rebuild. Let's start, you know, let's start preparing. Because the other thing as well is that chairman ain't going to put his hand in his pocket. Someone put in the comments, I think, on the Man City one. It was really, I can't remember who it was.
Do you know how I know, and I'm going to say this now, between me and you, how I know they're preparing to go down? I don't know if you've seen it. All of a sudden they're preparing to change the badge. And all of a sudden the London's going, the Castle's coming back and all that. And then when I look at that, I'm thinking, do you know why that is, Dave? Do you want to know why that is? Because they know the tourists are going to go here. Yeah. That London don't mean fuck all, and the people they're going to need back in this stadium are the likes of me and you and the fucking 10,000, 20,000 that walked away, and that's what they're hoping to get them back, because they know they're going down. They've been preparing to go down, and they've run this club into the fucking ground, and they've done it for a load of fucking tourists. Look at them people going in the shop there. Look, we've just lost at home. We've just been relegated. Look at all the people going in the shop there. They're the people that they want here, and them people will not be here next fucking year.
I agree. And you know what? Absolutely. Right? And I'll tell you what though, right? I hope Hammers United watch this, right? Because now more than ever, you can strike with the old top. They need us here, right? They need every single one that walked away to come back. Yeah? Now's your chance. Put your foot on their throat. The waving of red cards and blowing up black balloons is only going to do so much, ain't you so far? They need us now more than ever. You wield the power. Start putting it on them a little bit. Really putting it on them. Not, I mean, no, you could barely see like the bits of card that are being waved around.
Listen, I'm never going to disagree with any protest. You know, that's their form of protest and that's what they're saying. But I'm just telling you the truth. The reason why they're designing the badge now, because that London and that London stadium means nothing. It means nothing for a championship club. It means fuck all, nothing.
Didn't mean anything to start with. Everyone knew.
No, it doesn't mean anything to us. It's never meant anything to us. But to them people, look at them people. It means everything to them. They're not going to be here next year when we play Stoke. They're not going to be here next year when we play QPR. They're not going to be here next year when we play Wrexham.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So now's the time, and I'm not slating, you know, but you've got a chance now. Now more than ever, you've got your chance to really put it on them. Really kind of nail it to this board. Really let them know how you feel. Do you remember that Burnley game when people were congregating underneath the director's box and they really started to understand how we felt? Now's the time to recreate that. Now's the time to put it on them. And it's got to be done. I mean, forget. Look, he's not going to, like I say, look, if someone put on the thing, we need a Hartson and Kitson window, and obviously when we signed Hartson and Kitson, you know, that money came from nowhere. None of us was expecting to see, you know, £7.5 million back then. That was a hell of a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Like, being spent on 2 strikers. But we did it. He's not going to do that. He's not going to go and find. No. What we're equivalent now? Probably 80 million to go and buy 2 centre forwards in this market.
Of course he is, yeah. Of course he is.
You know, he's not going to find that. He doesn't have that kind of clout. He doesn't have that kind of ambition. So now's the time, more than ever. Let's really nail it to him. Let's really start sticking it. Let's really start amping the pressure on Sullivan and Brady, and the rest of them. Trip Smith and Kretinsky and all that.
I think they're waiting to pick the bones, mate. If I'm honest, but that's my opinion.
Pick the bones of what? I mean, really, when we go down,
whatever's fuck's left.
What is this worth? Like, realistically, once you've got a championship squad, right? Once the money's been collected because Bowen and Paquetá and whoever else have been sold.
Where's the asset?
What you've got? You've got a rental agreement, some pork cabbage in Romford, and whatever the playing staff of the championship club are worth. And how much is he going to want for that, realistically? Because he probably wants £1 billion now, as a guess. He probably values it far higher than any sane person would. Once you go down, you're on that cycle. Once we go down, we join that Norwich, Fulham, West Brom, Burnley, Leeds, until we drop out of that cycle and we start looking, and I think we will. Once we're down, I've said it before, I say it again, I think we see League One before we see the Premier League again.
Thank you very much. I said the same thing.
I just don't see
Yeah, I agree, mate. And we'll end it there because I think that is perfect way to end it because